Welcome to our Omud Yom Shir. Good evening, everybody. We are in Maseches Shabbos, Daf Lamed Omud Beis, following the Dirshu program. And we are learning about the demise, the death of David HaMelech. Yeah? And this is in relation to the question of, are you allowed to extinguish the candle, because of a sick person, to help a sick person? So now, we said yesterday, let's start now from Sholach Shlomo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. From the top of the page, it's like 7 lines. Nafshe, Sholach Shlomo. So David HaMelech was niftar on Shabbos, and that we have discussed yesterday. Now there was now continues the story, a halachic question that arose after the Ptira of David. Sholach Shlomo. Shlomo asked the question, he sent a question, Shlomo, David HaMelech's son, asked the question, Lebei Midrasha. He sent a halachic question to the Beis Medrash. Abba meis umutal b'chama. My father is dead and his body, his corpse, is lying in the sun. So now it says in Shulchan Aruch that situation that we're discussing now, it wasn't like the sun is going to mamish distort him in a second. It was a process. If he stayed there long enough, it would have created, it would have distorted the dead body. And the dogs of my father's household are hungry. I saw in the booklet of Dirshu, they said that up until then they used to eat from the table of David HaMelech. Now he died, they didn't have food. Interesting. What shall I do? I have 2 questions. What are the questions? Both questions involve the topic of muktzeh. We see that the gzera of muktzeh, even though it's the Rabbanon, it already existed in the times of David HaMelech. It's a very early gzera. Some types of muktzeh already existed then, because both questions have to do with muktzeh machmat gufo. Muktzeh that like a stone, like a stick, an object that you have nothing to do with, that there's no use for it. So, what are the questions? But the answers, we're going to see what the question was. Answer number 1, Sholchule, they sent him the answer. You should cut a nevela, take a dead body of an animal, a dead body of, I don't know, a dead sheep, a dead cow, a dead whatever, cut it up and serve it to the dogs. What are the questions here? There are 2 questions. Question number 1, muktzeh. What's nevela? If the nevela died on Shabbos, meaning the animal died on Shabbos, so in Ben Hashmoshes, that animal was supposed to be for human use. Let's say it's a sheep. You're going to milk it. Eventually, you're going to shecht it. You're going to use it for yourself. All of a sudden, the animal died on Shabbos. So on Ben Hashmoshes, during Ben Hashmoshes, you didn't expect it to be animal food. It was expected to be eventually human food. So that's Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon at the very, very end of the Masechta. I told you yesterday there are 3 Machlokes in Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda. In all of them, Rabbi Yehuda is Machmir, Rabbi Shimon is Mekel, one of them is Muktzeh. Rabbi Shimon says there is no muktzeh. What do you mean there's no muktzeh? And Allah like Rabbi Shimon. Oh, no muktzeh? Easy life. It means that if a person designated something, let's say a bottle of wine. I designated a bottle of wine for my son's bar mitzvah, and he's only 9 years old. According to Rabbi Yehuda, I'm not allowed to use it on Shabbos. Wine, it's muktzeh because I removed it from my mind. Rabbi Shimon says, ain't muktzeh. Same thing over here. This animal, when Shabbos started, when Shabbos came in, the animal was alive and kicking, and I was going to use it for one purpose. Now all of a sudden it changed purpose. According to Rabbi Shimon, it's okay. It's good animal food. It's animal food. So Rabbi Shimon, there is a machlokes within Rabbi Shimon, machlokes Rishonim, if this is also true, if the animal was mamish healthy, or only if the animal was a bit sick, and I had in mind maybe it's going to die. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, for sure it's muktzeh. According to Rabbi Yehuda, an animal that wasn't dead, Ben Hashmoshes, when Shabbos came in, that's the time that determines its halachic status. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you can't use it, can't touch it. Now, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you can only give a nevela to the dogs if it was nevela before Shabbos. Here, it looks like we paskin like Rabbi Shimon, or maybe even according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's okay to give nevela. But there's another chidush, another question: are you allowed to cut the nevela for the dogs? Why? On one hand, you're supposed to treat your animals nicely on Shabbos. You're supposed to give them food. You're supposed to feed your own animal on Shabbos, not an animal from the street or for other people or in the zoo. But are you allowed to spoil it? Lefanekota? To spoil it, it's not cutting, like to the 3 years old. That's not so simple. So over here, we say the nevela was hard, was big. It's really was difficult for the dogs to eat the nevela, a whole cow, a whole sheep. Then it's not called tircha because of tzar by lechaim. We allow you to be torech up to a certain point, and you can cut the nevela. That was the chiddush. So there's no issue of muktzeh, no issue of tircha. You let the dogs eat within those, parameters. That's answer number one. Question number two, Va'avicha. Now, David HaMelech, again, is a dilemma. On one hand, the dead body is muktzeh. What can you do with the dead body? On the other hand, you don't want David HaMelech, king of Israel, to lie in the sun, or even a regular person, and eventually the sun is going to come, and with the heat of the sun, he's going to get all distorted, all, bizayon, all degraded. So what do? Hanach olav kikar otinoik v'talteloi. There's a very, very special kula only for dead bodies. Yeah, in other words, although the dead body is muktzeh, if there's no other solution, there are other solutions. Let's say lechatchila, you should move the dead person maybe with a goy, or you move the dead person to a corner where the sun doesn't hit, it's not going to hit him with mimita lamita. You move him from one bed to another bed indirectly, without touching it, mamish be'adayim. But if there's no choice, what do? You place a loaf of bread or a baby, or I saw today the Shulchan Aruch and the Mishnah Brura, they say any object of heter, you put it on the mace and you move the mace together with the kikar tinoik, so the mace is like tofel to them. The mace is like secondary to the mutter things. It's only by mace, no other way. And I saw not the Mishnah Brura, one of the other Noisikelim, Shulchan Aruch says some people use this kula for candles, for stones. No, you can't. This is a special kula only for mace, not to do it in your face. We'll make it like tefillah for something else. But if there's no other solution, you take it b'yadayim to a shady area. Yes, I saw the halacha today. Again, it's not halacha shir, but I saw the halacha. You preferred putting something else better. I think the briskerov was nifter and Shabbos. They did it, or Yom Kippur or something. There was something with the briskerov, and I think they used that. Okay. Now continues the Gemara. V'lo yofe omer Shlomo ki lakelev chai hu tov min arya meis. Oh, wasn't Shlomo right by saying? Wasn't Shlomo correct when he said the live dog is better than the dead lion? Why is it better? You see, by the dogs, you're allowed to take the nevela b'yadayim, feed them the nevela and cut it to pieces, mamish b'yadayim. V'shenkin b'David HaMelech, lechatchila, don't do it b'yadayim. You do it indirectly with a kikar, a tinok. So you see that a live animal is better than the arya mace. In other words, the tzar ba'alechaim overrides the kovod mace. Ad kedei kach, even ad kedei kach, that also that was the answer they answered first. He asked, Rashi adds that, he asked first about his father, then about the dogs. They said, oh, the dogs are hungry, tzar ba'alechaim comes before the kovod mace. Ad kedei kach. Ule'inyan she'ela, now, Rab Tanchum from Noi, he's the one who gave the drosha. Yeah, that's a long drosha. Remember, we started yesterday, and we said that Rab Tanchum Minoi, right? He said that as follows: Le'inyan she'ela d'shilna kadmechun. Regarding the question that I asked you, really, it wasn't him who asked. Rab Tanchum Minoi, they asked him the question, but he was very humble. So he said, "Is this if I asked you?" Even though it's really the other way around. What was the question? The question was, are you allowed to? Are you allowed to be mechabe? Are you allowed to turn off and extinguish the candle because of a person, choyle sheyesh bo sakona, right? A person who's mamish sick. And the answer is ner kruya ner. A candle is called a candle. V'nishmosa shalodam kruya ner. A person's soul is also kruya ner, right? Ner Hashem nishmas odom. Chofetz kol chad revoten. We also use this pasuk also by checking the chometz. Yeah. The neshama of the person is called the ner. Mutav tich bener shel basar v'dam b'pnei nero shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's better to extinguish a ner, a human ner made by human beings, a regular candle, even on Shabbos, and maintain and keep the ner, the soul, the candle of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is the Jewish soul. So Lemaisa, Rashi says that's not the real source. The source is, it says v'chai bahem. This is the question of pikuach nefesh. Except for Gimel Averos Chamuras, we know it says in Parshas Emor, v'chai bahem, you should live, v'lo she'amus bahem. Here of Tanchon Minhoi, he was darshaning this in the drosha in Shul, where there were amerotzos, ameratzim, and women. and they don't really get the halacha. There, you need to excite them with nice ideas. There, oh wow, such a beautiful word, Therefore, to ignite them, to get them going, get them excited, he mentioned another source, even though it's not the real source. Amar Rav Yehuda Breder Rav Shmuel bar Shilas. A lot of interesting things are waiting for us today. Amar Rav Yehuda Breder Rav Shmuel bar Shilas Mishmei Derav on behalf of Rav. Bikshu Chachomim Lignoz Sefer Koheles. Chachomim wanted to keep aside, put in the Gniza, not to expose Sefer Koheles to the public. Why? Because it looks like the words of Koheles contradict each other, and people may not understand it, and that's not good. Why didn't they keep it aside? Why didn't they hide it? The beginning of Koheles is all about Torah. The end is about Torah. And Rashi said, surely in the middle of Koheles, there are many, many Musar ideas about the study of Torah, and that's important. Before we go into the contradiction of Koheles, first of all, we have to see what are the important Divrei Torah mentioned in Koheles. What's the beginning of Koheles with Torah? It says, what is the advantage? What is the gain of a person who works so hard under the sun? The sun always means the memshala of the teva, the ruling of teva, of nature. The shemesh is always olam hazeh. The goyim are like shemesh, right? There was a solar eclipse in America. Good for them. Mashenken yareach is bnei Yisrael. In the yeshiva of Rabbi Yana, they said, "Tachas shemesh hu de'en loy, koydem shemesh yesh loy," which means, as long as you're under the sun, you have no advantage. There's no real purpose in life. Koydem shemesh, what was created before the sun? The Torah. The Torah was created before the world. The more you're involved in Torah, you have real yitaron in your life. You have real gain, real advantage, real meat to your life when you're involved in Torah, which is before the sun even started, before nature even came. Stoifei divrei Torah. Where are the divrei Torah or things in that encourage divrei Torah at the end of Koheles? It says at the end of Koheles, Soif Davor Hakoel Nishma. At the end of the day, everything was heard. Es Elokim Yerei. You should fear Hashem. This mitzvos of Shmor. You should keep the mitzvahs, guard the mitzvahs. Kizeh Kol Ha'odom. Because this is all the man. This is what a man is all about. This is what all of mankind is. What does that mean? There are three explanations to Zeh Kol Ha'odom. We're describing here a person who's Yereh Elokim and keeps mitzvahs. And clearly, what's the most important mitzvah? Torah. Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. And you see that man, Kol Ha'odom, what does it mean? Three explanations, and I'll tell you afterwards a beautiful Maharsha that I saw today in Brochus. My Kizeh Kol Ha'odom, what does it mean? Amar Blazer, Kol Ha'olam Kulo Nivra Ela B'Shvil Zeh. The whole world was only created for one person who will be Shomer Mitzvahs Yireh Shamayim. The whole world, the whole system was created just for him. Just for the person who's a real Yireh Shamayim and Kaim Mitzvahs. Two, Rabbi Abba Bakana Omar, Shokul Zeh Keneged Kol Ha'olam Kuloi. This person, not that the world was created for him, he is equal, is as important as the entire world. That's number two. Shimon ben Azai Oimer, Da'amr Shimon ben Zoyma Oimer, that's a third opinion. Lo nivra kol ha'olam kulo ela letzeves lezeh. The whole world was only created, to accompany him, to be company for him. Everything was created, in order to be, to serve his necessities. So the Maharsha said something very nice. There are many worlds, and there are many ways how you define the different worlds. Shmei Shamayim, Elyonim, all kinds of words. Olam Asiya, Yetzira, Bria. But the Maharsha says, if you look at the three worlds, there's a spiritual world of Malachim. There's the world of the constellation of the stars and the moon and the luminaries, the sun, the moon, the stars. And there's a third world. There's the lower world of Olam Hazeh, Mamish, the world of physicality, because the stars also have spiritual power, obviously under Hashem only. So it says very nice. The first opinion says the whole system, all the malachim and all the galgalim, srafim, oifanim, they were created just for that man. The second opinion says shokol zeh keneged kol olam. The second opinion says he is like the sun and the moon and the stars. It says Moshe Rabbeinu was like the sun, Yoshua was like the stars, and Matzdikim Rabim Kekachovim. Tzaddikim are like stars. So he is like the stars, he's like the sun. And the third one is saying, the third one, Kol Olam Kulei Letzeves Lezeh. All the Gashmistika things really created just to be like accessories in his play, accessories for him. All the small things in the world, all the physical things, they're not creating, but they were created in order to be tzevet, in order to be like part of his team, part of the necessities that he has. Only for that was created. Coffee was created for the one who's Yiras Shamayim or whatever that is. Yeah. Umay. Oh, so Koheles is very important. They didn't want to just, Khalila be going as it, because really they knew that it has important messages. Now the question is, but really the Havamina was to hide it. Why? What was the big contradiction that they found in Koheles? See, because it says there's a contradiction regarding laughter and regarding happiness, joy. Steve, it says, interesting. Anger is better than laughter. Anger is such a bad thing. What does it mean? And uksiv, on the other hand, it says, it says, I say that tzchoik is praiseworthy. It's mehulal. It's good. It's praised. So is tzchoik good or bad? And another stira, I praise the joy. The other pasuk says, "What's good about simcha? Why is simcha such a big thing?" Yeah, Litvish and Hasidish. What's the thing? Loi kasha. Answers the Gemara. Nothing is difficult here. Toiv kas mischoy. What does it mean? The anger is better than laughter. Toiv kas shekoyes hakadosh baruch hu al tzadikim ba'olam hazeh mischok shemesachik hakadosh baruch hu al roshoim ba'olam hazeh. Which means the kas, the anger that Hashem shows tzadikim in this world. A tzaddik has tzaras, all kinds of tzaras that tzaddik has, and that doesn't look nice, right? And on the other hand, the Rosha seems to be happy and good, everything goes well. That kas that Hashem is angry with the tzaddikim in Olam Hazeh because they have a few averos, and therefore he is getting rid of the averos to pay them in Olam Hazeh. They come to Olam Haba all clean, as the Gemara says in Kiddushin, right around the mem over there. So yeah, that's better. What seems to you as bad, what happens to the tzaddikim in Olam Hazeh, it's kas, is way better than the schoik, right? That the Rishoim get in Olam Hazeh. In Olam Hazeh, Hashem is laughing towards the Rishoim, showing them pretty nice face, but really, it's really bad. They get a bit of sachar in Olam Hazeh. At the end of the day, in Olam Haba, they'll get it much worse. So it all looks twisted to you, but what seems to be bad is way better than what seems to be good for the Rishoim. What does that mean? That he's praising the schoik, the laughter. The schoik shemesachik hakadosh baruch hu mitzadikim ba'olam haba. Very good. At the end of the day, in olam haba, hakadosh baruch hu, that will be, as we say, the last laughter. The real schoik, the real happiness, will be in olam haba. And that is obviously praiseworthy. That's the best thing. We all yearn to get to olam haba after 120 and be in good relationship with the hakadosh baruch hu of laughter and happiness. Now, what about v'shibachten yisa simcha? What about joy? Yeah, is joy good or bad? V'shibachten yisa simcha. I praise the simcha. Zu simcha shel mitzvah. Simcha shel mitzvah. Rashi says, for example, achnos haskala, which means why achnos haskala? Achnos haskala is a combination of either simcha shel mitzvah. You can have simcha shel mitzvah when we put on tefillin. Simcha shel mitzvah. You're so happy you're doing a mitzvah. Achnos haskala or chasana. Even if you're not mechaven, you're in a state of simcha. It's happy. So even if the simcha is superficial, you're just dancing in the chasana, not so internal, it's still a big thing because the context of the simcha is mitzvah. So that's a good thing. Yeah, I saw it also b'shem. I don't remember who. Somebody also I saw it in the Dirshu. Well, the simcha mazo oisa. Why is Shlomo now being so reserved about simcha? What's good about simcha? So simcha she'ena shel mitzvah. A simcha which is not simcha shel mitzvah is a simcha of gashmias. You may be happy, nothing to do with mitzvah. It's not the real thing. Maza oisa doesn't get you anywhere. It's simcha of somebody made another $1,000. Thank you, but it's not a real simcha which internalizes. Yeah, it's not internal. Doesn't connect you to Kadosh Baruch Hu. The lamdecho, speaking to connecting to Hashem. Real simcha is the one that connects you to Kadosh Baruch Hu. She'en shchina shoiro. The Shekhinah doesn't come and rest upon the person Lo mituch atzvus, not because of sadness, because sadness really blocks you away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sadness, very selfish, very, doesn't get you close to Hashem. V'lo mituch atzlus, laziness doesn't connect you to Hashem. V'lo mituch schoik, regular schoik. Rashi says schoik here means literally laughter. Not that the laughter is bad, but it's not, you're not really properly concentrated. And das soichik miyusheves olov. Even if it's not latzon is a very bad thing. Even not latzon, stam, you're laughing and it's not a bad thing. But ashros shechina, you have to have seriousness, not laughter like ha 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 kind of mood. V'lo mituch kalus roish, and not from kalus roish from just being lightheaded, right? Lightheaded, says Rashi, that's litzonus. Kalus roish is worse. Litzonus is really bad kind of humor or bad kind of state of mind. Yeah, Litzonis is already bordering on making fun Khalil of Kedusha. V'lo mitoch sicha, not out of sicha, stam, idle talk. V'lo mitoch dvorim betelim, not because of all kinds of mundane things that are not connected to Torah and mitzvahs. Ela mitoch dvar simcha shel mitzvah. The only way to connect to Hashem and get Ruach HaKodesh is simcha shel mitzvah. Rabbi Sai, people don't realize, and this is something which I have to work on, and everybody has to work on, tefillah. Yeah, when you are right before you daven, 2 or 3 minutes before you enter shul, you have to try and be in state of simcha shel mitzvah. Not shmuz. You can't like shmuz with your friend about the politics and the Hamas and the stock exchange, and then start ashrei. It's not right. Before davening, you want to have a shros shechina a little bit, as much as we can. You have to be in the right state of mind and connect yourself to Hashem in a happy way, and then you can start the tefillah. This is something which we all have to internalize. Shenema, how do you know this is true from the Novi? It says in the Novi, the Atok Chuli Menagen, who said that? Elisha. Elisha was asked by two Melochim, Melech Israel and Melech Yehuda. They wanted to go for war together. He wasn't so happy with that. They wanted to go to war against the Goyish king. And that was the first Nevu. I saw the Malbim today inside. I saw it in the Novi. Malbim says, Elisha was sad since the Ptira of Eliyahu. I think it was the first Nevuah since Eliyahu. Elisha was very, very close to Eliyahu. So he said, I need to get into the mood of Nevuah. I can't just get Nevuah. Nevuah has to come to me, have to work in order to get the Nevuah. So what did he ask? What did he ask? Chulim, again, bring me a musician. Bring me somebody to play the music. And again, Yad Hashem. Once the musician started playing the music, Yad Hashem came upon him. Why? What does it show you about Simcha Shel Mitzvah? It says Rashi, the mere fact that he brought the musician in order to get the Nevuah, that was the mitzvah. Right? Rashi says, let's see Rashi inside. Yeah, Rashi says, and again, mitzvah of Shechina. That was the mitzvah. To try and get the Shechina to come to him, that was the mitzvah itself. To try and connect to Hashem, to try and get the right connection, that itself is a mitzvah. He's aiming, and therefore that music was good music that brought him to Kadosh Baruch Hu. And that shows you Simcha Shel Mitzvah is a good thing to get close to Hashem. Now, Omar Yehuda, v'chen dvar halacha. The same applies for halacha. In other words, you want to learn well, and you want to really know what's halacha l'maisa, to be able to be mechaven to the right halacha when you learn, you have to be in a state of Simcha Shel Mitzvah. Then you'll be able to learn properly. Also for dream. You want to have a good dream and not a nightmare? Before you go to sleep, be in a state of Simcha Shel Mitzvah. Eini, frag the Gemara, is that so? Are you supposed to have Simcha Shel Mitzvah? Is that so? Not so simple. The Omar Rav Gidel, Rav Gidel, especially by the way, who said for Dvar Halacha. It sounds like before you start Shir and you want to be Mechavan Halacha L'maisa, you have to be in a happy mood, in a mode of Simcha. Ha ha ha, great. Not ha, stupid, but ha ha is of mitzvah. Is that so? Omar Rav Gidel, Omar Rav, Kol Talmid Chochem Shiyoshev Lifnei Rabbi. Any Talmid Chochem who sits in front of his Rebbe, the en sifsoisav noit for smar tichveno. If his lips are not like there's no bitterness coming out of them, running down his lips, they should be burned. What does it mean? Doesn't mean bitter. Bitter here means you should have like seriousness. In other words, when you sit to learn, your sfasayim, your lips have to be very serious. Otherwise, you may chalila burn. How do you know that's true? Shene'emar, it says, Sifsoisov shoishanim noitfoi smoir oiver. This is opposed to Kinshir Shirim. Yeah. describing the one who's learning Torah. Al tikri mor oiver ela mar oiver. Don't say mor oiver, which is the good smelling thing. Mar oiver. The bitterness, meaning the seriousness, has to go through your lips, and you have to be serious when you learn. Al tikri shoshanim, roses, ela she shonim, that they learn. Those organs in your body that learn, your spasaim, your lips, they should be very serious and very bekovid rosh. So, excuse me. So you see that you're not supposed to even be besimcha. You're supposed to be very, very serious when you learn. Not like all happy, not even a simcha shel mitzvah. You have to be like extremely serious, very like litvish when you learn. And it says the Gemara lo kasha. It's not difficult. Ha be rabba veho betalmid. Very good. The Rav himself who teaches Torah, he's supposed to be besimcha. Because he's already in such a high darga, he already acquired so much Torah, he can be a little bit more in a state of I'm there already. So I don't have to be so scared, so fearful of a higher person. I'm the leader, I'm the guide, and I'm happy with my Torah. But the Talmud, no. The Talmud who comes to receive and accept from the Rav, he has to take a few steps forward and not be so smug, so complacent and happy like Shanan. No, you have to know, I'm sitting in front of Rav, I have to be very, tremble in front of him more than the Rav himself. Or another pshat, both of them have to do with the teacher. Sometimes the teacher has to be serious. Sometimes the teacher has to be besimcha. It's not difficult. Oh, that's a before the Rav starts giving the shir, it's good for him to start with a joke. It says that, as we're going to see soon, because the joke opens up the hearts of the Talmidim. They hear a joke, they open up, they start learning. But the boss of the Posach, once shir started, you have to be serious. Once you're in the shir, that's it. Yeah, both Talmid and Rav have to be in a serious state. And we're going to bring a story to endorse that. Kihod the Rabba himself, what did he do? Mekame de Posach le'Rabbanon Oma Milsa de B'dichusa. Badchi Rabbanon. Before he started his shir, he would say Milsa de B'dichusa. He would say a funny joke, something obviously with good taste. Yeah. He said something funny, something humoristic. Rabbanon would laugh, would, find it funny, and the hearts would open to the learning. Later on, he would sit in fear, be'ema, with fear and awe, and then he would start the sugya properly. So this is the source of Milsa de B'dichusa, right? At the beginning of the shir. I heard once the Choshev Rosh Hashiva from Kol Torah asked about the Magid they wanted to employ, does he know how to give a good joke? He wanted to know the Magid can zogen a vitz. Can he say a joke? Because it's part of Arbatzas Torah. Can he have a good joke at the beginning and then start the learning? The Av Sefer Mishlei Bikshu Lignois. Another Sefer they wanted to hide was Mishlei. Shodvov Soislin Zeh Zeh. The Sefer of Mishlei also, the words seem to contradict each other. Why didn't they hide it? Amri, they said, Sefer Koheles, Lav Eininan Vashkechinan Taima. Just like in the Sefer Koheles of Shlomo, didn't we look hard enough? Didn't we learn it properly? Be'iyun Vashkechinan Taima. We found a reason, we found an answer, and we found how to reconcile the contradiction. Achinami Lainan. So to here, we're sure if we look hard enough, we'll be able to find a good answer. Why were the words of Mishlei contradictory to each other? See, that's mamish stira. That's an open stira. That's a hard one. It says, listen, it says, Al ta'an ksil ki ivaltoi, uksiv anek ksil ki ivaltoi. Look, it says, if a fool, a ksil, a tipish, a fool, comes to you with his idiocy of shtuyot, don't answer him with his stupidity. And then it says, do answer him. So what's going on? Let's say Tipish comes to me with all kinds of stupidities. Do I have to answer back? Or do I just disregard him and say, thank you, okay, you're right, goodbye. What do? Seems to be contradictory. Answers the Gemara, loy kasha. It's not difficult. And by the way, if you read the entire Pasuk, you see that also makes sense from the Pasuk. Ha b'divrei Torah, let me explain. In Divrei Torah, let's say a person who's a real tipish, some, I don't know, reform rabbi, some real shtus, yeah? A Divrei Torah, he comes and he asks you a question. If you don't answer, he will stay with his mistake. Yeah? And he will say, oh, look, this frum guy had no answer. right? I know that I don't know what whatever krum hashkafa he has, and you say nothing. He'll think he's right. And then he was ready going to publish a whole book with this kfira. So you have to answer. But ho b'mila de alma, if he comes to you and says all kinds of shtuyot in things that have nothing to do with Torah, stop blaming you for something, as we'll see later on. Some coming to tell you all kinds of nonsense which have nothing to do with Torah. Okay, let him stay with his mistake. He wants to tell you that wine is bread. Okay, wine is bread. Who cares? It's not a Dvar Torah. And we're going to see an example. There was a person who came in front of Rebbe with false accusation. He told Rebbe, Ishtecha ishti ubonecha bonai. Your wife is really my wife, meaning I had relations with your wife. Ubonecha bonai, and your children are my children. In other words, your children are mamzerim, they're really my children. Amalei, so Rebbe told him, do you need a glass of wine, maybe? In other words, leave me alone. I'm changing the subject. Yeah, you want a glass of wine? I saw in the Deer Shul, they said, B'Shem someone, that's what you give somebody who's about to die. In Sanhedrin, they would give it nu yain lemori nefesh. Yeah, somebody who's about to die, they give him some wine so he wouldn't feel so much the pain of the death. So drink the cup of wine because they knew he's going to die. Shota upoka. He drank and he popped up. He died. And a chinami. So Rebbe basically said, drink the cup of wine. Rebbe knew what he was doing and he died. And he did not answer anything. Now, a similar story happened to Rabbi Chia. Omar Lei, not the same, but similarly, he said, Imcha ishti, your mother is my wife, meaning my friend. The anta b'ni, and you are my son, you're mamzer. You're my son and your mom's. Omar Lei, so Rabbi Chia used the same tactics as Rabbi. Rabbi Chia and Rabbi were friends. Omar Lei, do you want a cup of wine? You need a glass of wine maybe to calm down, stop your nonsense. Shota upoka, he drank and poof, he popped out and he died. Now, Omar Rabbi Chia added and said, Rebbe's tzloise, davening, Rebbe's tefillah helped him that his children would be considered as mamzerim. What does it mean? This guy who came out of the blue all of a sudden saying, Rebbe's children are mamzerim, if he would have continued to talk, people would have believed him. People like juicy news about rabbis. Yeah. So then Rebbe had the nace that the guy died. He just gave him a cup of wine. I don't know what his kavana was. He was expected he's going to die right away. How come he died suddenly? Rebbe had the nace mishamayim because of his tefillah. He always davened not to confront mamzerim and never to be blamed of being a mamzer. Yeah. Or a father of a mamzer. And that's why the davening helped him. Hashem made the nes, and the guy who started accusing him died. Yeah, basically, we killed the evidence. We killed the bad witness, not real witness, false witness, and now all is good. Rebbe is okay. What kind of tefillah did Rebbe establish? The Rebbe Kiavamatzli, when Rebbe used to daven at the end of Shmoneh Esrei, he would say, "Omar yirotzim lefnech Hashem Elokeinu v'ker v'seinu shetitzleinu hayom v'chol yom me'azei panim u'ma'azus panim." Azei panim are chutzpahdik people, insolent people. Me'azus panim is mamzerus. The mamzerim, they're azponim. Mamzerim by nature, they're mechutzaf. Yeah, they're cheeky, they're insolent, they're in your face. So Rebbe davened, I don't want to be confronted by such people, and I don't want to be considered as one falsely. And his tefillah helped. He invented this tefillah. We say this every morning. After Birkat Shachar, it's Rebbe's idea, this tefillah, and that helped him not to Khalila be blamed that his children are mamzerim. Now, what is it? What did you mean when you said that when a fool comes and blames you or just comes and presents all kinds of nonsense of Divrei Torah, then you do have to answer? Give me an example. Yod Yosef Rabban Gamliel. Rabban Gamliel, one time he was sitting, learning and darshaning the Kadolish. He was teaching the Talmidim. Asida Isha Shetelet B'chol Yom. In future, after Mashiach comes, when things are very futuristic, Lamala Min HaTeva, a woman can give birth every day. Instead of waiting 9 long months, a woman will be able to give birth every day. Shenema, it says in the pasuk about the the times of Mashiach, Horo, v'yoledes yachdav. The pregnant woman and the woman at birth together. Pasha Pshat means all types of women and men would come to Beis Hamikdash. But Hara v'yoledes yachdav means together. The same woman is Hara and Yoledes, she becomes pregnant and she gives birth yachdav within one day. So Likla Golov is a Talmud, that's scary. There was a Talmud and he made fun of it. Likleg, he disregarded it. Yeah. Omar, en kol chodesh tachat hashemesh. Excuse me, he wasn't asking it nicely. He was saying, oh, you're talking nonsense. En kol chodesh tachat hashemesh. Right? The same Shlomo Melech says, en kol chodesh tachat hashemesh, nothing new under the sun. And you're telling me that all of a sudden there will be a new reality of 1 day long pregnancy? Omar lei, yes, bo va'arach hadugmos and ba'olam hazeh. I'll show you that even in Olam Hazeh, there is a similar concept of becoming pregnant and give birth within the same day. No fact, he went out, he saw a chicken, a hen, a female chicken that gives birth straight away. She becomes pregnant from what? With having an egg, yeah? And then she lays the egg after 1 day. Maybe she sits on it for longer. But Lamaisa, the actual process is 1 day. Egg, boom, in and out. So you see, it can happen. In this world, it's about birds, the birds and the bees, and in Olam Haba, it's human beings. Hashem just expands, the same idea is going to expand it further. The two, and another story. Yosef Abban Gamliel sat and learned and taught the Kadorish Asidim Ilonus Shemotzin Peros B'chol Yom. In future, the trees will bear fruit and they'll have nice, fresh fruit, new fruit every day. Every day there will be new fruit coming out of the tree, yielding new fruit every day. Shenema, it says, V'nosa onof ve'osa pri. In future, the trees will have anaf. What is that? Branches. Ve'osa pri, they'll make fruit. Ma onof b'chol yoim. Just like the branches are there every day, right? Every day there's a branch. It's not a chiddush. Af pri b'chol yoim. So too, every day of the life of the tree, there will be fruit. There won't be seasons. Like you cut all the apples, you picked all the apples, new apples are coming. Every day there will be new fruit all the time. The cycle will be much, much quicker. Now the Talmud came and made fun. I'm sorry. How could that be? There's nothing new under the sun. So how can things accelerate so quickly? They didn't know about today's world. Today it's already happening, not exactly, but with genetic engineering. It's a problem of Orla. Things grow much quicker nowadays. They can do it. Yeah. But I think with tomatoes and other things. They make them grow quicker nowadays, also with trees. I know it's a shaila about Orla. That's what I've heard about it. They can make genetic engineering. They do all kinds of things that people never imagined. The sagenetit. So they make it grow quicker too. I don't know, 1 day. But it's the whole thing is, for sure they have that. I remember a whole shir about it once. In Halacha. So it's already happening. I'm saying. So, Omar Lei, come and I'll show you a similar idea, an example in Olam Hazeh. No, fact, you went at Achvile Tzlach. The Tzlach is what's called in English capers. It's mentioned a lot in the Broches and also a bit in Bava Basra. The Tzlach has different fruit every day. Yeah, in today's world. I don't know exactly how it works. There are 3 types of fruit, and there's always one kind of fruit on the tree. Maybe not every day mamish, but like if you don't have this fruit because they picked it, the other one's beginning. It's a very, very quick cycle. So you see, me'ein that in Olam Hazeh. Vetu, a third story. Yosef Abban Gamliel v'Kadorish, Asida Eretz Yisrael shetotzi gluskois v'klei milas. In the land of Israel, the land of Eretz Yisrael will in future be able to yield, to produce gluskois bread. There will be mamish ready-made bread. Angel, Berman are out of business. You don't need them. Ba'afiyat nechama, goodbye. You should learn Torah all day long. You're going to have bread coming out of the ground. The clay milas. Clay milas is mamish clothes. There will be clothes, nice clothes from milat. Milat is pure silk. You'll have nice silk clothes or like silk clothes coming from the ground. Shenemar, yehi pisas bar ba'oretz. Rashi says pisat is like the bread, a piece of bread, like a pisas bar. And bar also means clean. Bar may mean like a cereal from bread, or bar also means clean, like clean, meshi, clean silk. And pisa can also means a piece of silk, like Pisas yodoi. Rashi says pisas baka means something nice and clean, both for bread or for clothes. Ligla golova satalmid. Again, he disregarded it and he made fun. Ve'omar en kol chodesh tachas hashemesh. Omar le, he said no. Said Gamliel no. Bo barach hadigmoson be'olam hazeh. I'll show you a similar creation in olam hazeh. No fact, he went out. Achvi lekmeinu pitrios. Look, there are. What are there? What's coming out of the ground? Mushrooms. Mushrooms grow, and some of them are as big as a piece of bread. They are. Yeah. Some of them are big like a loaf of bread. They have very large pitrios, and they grow right after the rain, and they're good and nutritious like bread, right? Yeah, and they're good. I know some people don't eat bread, so instead of that, they eat pitrios. It's good. It's a similar nutrition. So you see, you have bread coming out of the ground. Today it's a mushroom. Tomorrow, because Baruch Hu can create a bread. He has no problem doing that. Yeah. Now the clay milas. What's similar in this world to clay milas to nice silk clothes? Navra bal koiro. Navra bal koiro says Rashi. In some trees they have like a layer which is like fine cloth, fine dress. Kol anaf elin kshurach yoytze b'chol shona kodem shiska shikori ko, which means a koire. It's like the koire of the lulav. In other words, before the trunk of the tree becomes hard, that layer is still soft. You see it in the palm trees. It is, yeah. They have this like softish kind of, or like the color of the lulav, this brown stuff. So in some trees it's nicer and better and looks like a fabric that you can wear. Yeah. So you see a similar din olam hazeh. So it's true. And kol chodesh tachas hashemesh. On the other hand, it's because it's not really new. It's a development of what we have in this world, and yet it's miraculous and new in to a certain extent. One thing is interesting. I saw here when you learn this Gemara, they really wanted to be going as Sefer Koheles and Sefer Mishlei, and they would have. If they really would have found a good answer, they would have hit it. In other words, we don't go for all kinds of doichek terutzim. We don't go for all kinds of, second grade terutzim. If you don't have a good teretz, you don't open the sefer. Only they knew they're going to find a good teretz, and only then they really allowed people to read the sefer. It shows you a Torah how emes dik Torah is. Okay, atzlachu brachu tomorrow as usual, Bezos Hashem. Hashem is kind to us that the Dirsha cycle is now going through easy dafim, so we can cleanse for Pesach and also prepare for Shir and come to Shir. Atzlacha uvracha. Yalla, back to scrubbing the floor. Kol tuv and have a good day, a good night. Thank you so much for coming. Jason is not feeling well. He's going to come tomorrow, I hope. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.